What up, everybody? I don't know who it was. I don't know if it's a troll account or what, or an actual person, but nonetheless, though, someone commented on, I think, one of my community posts saying that I'm addicted to beef. Um, at first, I didn't really get what he meant by that. I thought he was referring to the actual food or something, but then I got thinking, like, no, he's referring to having beef with people, like going back and forth with this person or going back and forth with that person. And I understand why him or other people might think that I'm addicted to beef. I get that because I have had quite a bit of beef with people and whatnot. But no, I'm not really addicted to beef when it's all said and done. But here's the thing. I mean, let's just keep it real. At the end of the day, there's always going to be beef between people, no matter what. It's been like that since the beginning of time, and it will always be like that. Heck, a person can say that the first beef that took place was between Cain and Abel. Just saying. So, yeah. But nonetheless, though, there's always going to be people that's going to lash out at one another or go back and forth, you know, over anything when it's all said and done. It can be an opinion about a video game, it can be something that involves politics, someone's religious beliefs, whatever the case may be. Someone's always going to have a disagreement. And the problem is you have people that don't know how to handle it when someone has a disagreement or someone thinks differently from them. Like, for example, about, like, I think it was like 6 years ago or something like that. It's back when WWE 2K20 was the latest WWE video game we had. And WWE 2K21 was obviously canceled because of how bad, 2K20 was and whatnot. And you had someone, and you have people obviously criticizing WWE 2K20 for rightful reasons, by the way. The game wasn't even able to be fixed because of how broken it was released and everything. Even the developers themselves admitted that. Yes, it works fine on the Series X or the PlayStation 5, but the fact of the matter is it's still completely unplayable on the PlayStation 4 or the Xbox One. So, yeah. But nonetheless, though, anybody who dared to criticize that game were getting attacked and everything. Heck, I even received death threats over criticizing the video game. And I wasn't even attacking anybody who simply enjoys it. Heck, I even stated, hey, if you enjoy the game, great. But for me, there's no way I can support it or defend it given all the glaring issues the game has. So, yeah. But again, I still receive death threats over simply criticizing a video game. We've already seen how this world is, when it comes to Trump supporters versus Democrats or Democrats, by the way, which, by the way, it does say within Isaiah of the Bible, which Isaiah is the book of prophecy, by the way. I can't remember exactly which verse, but it is in Isaiah that it says that liberals will be known as the evil ones. Just something worth noting. So, yeah, with the way the world is right now, yeah. And with the way that liberals are being viewed and everything, yeah. Looks like prophecy is definitely, coming past. Just saying. That's why I don't understand how nobody can honestly sit there and say that, oh, the Bible's fiction. Oh, yeah, it's fiction, but it sure is funny how it's able to predict everything that's going on. You know, like, for real. But whatever, I digress on that. Fact of the matter is, though, there's always going to be beef. There's always been beef between this person or that person. And like I said, most of the time it's over something stupid. It's over something petty. But it is what it is on that. You know. Heck, I remember I had a beef with somebody over my disagreement regarding abortion. Therefore, I'm not. So, yeah. I'll just leave it at that when it comes to that. But like I said, my point is there's always going to be beef between people. That's we're just a very hateful generation. People have always been very hateful to one another. Let's just keep it real. So, yeah. So it is what it is on that. Me personally, at this point, I'm not even going to waste time going back and forth with people. I'm just going to block them and move the hell on. So, yeah. I was sitting there thinking the other night, when I was in church, I'm like, man, I can't really remember the last time when I was genuinely happy and at peace. And then I got to thinking about, like, oh, yes, I do remember, back when I was genuinely happy and genuinely at peace. And it's back when I gave my life to the Lord, right before I had apologized to both Chayton and Arthur for constantly talking so much smack about them and everything, and voiced my opinion about a certain individual that that manipulated and used everybody, I might add. Um, so, yeah. But nonetheless, though, and yes, me being apologetic really was due to, me getting saved and giving my life to the Lord and everything. Of course, like I said, with the way everybody was going at me over it and everything, yes, it caused me to backslide and say and do some messed up stuff. Like, just gonna keep it real on that. So, yeah. But yeah, I'm sitting there thinking, like, when was the last time I was happy? When was the last time I was at peace? And I was like, oh, it was back when I gave my life to the Lord. So, at the end of the day, people can think what they want to think. It's whatever. I don't care. But I'm going to be trying to focus more on living for God and everything. So, yeah, does that mean I'm going to start being apologetic to this person or that person like what I was back in the day? Well, if God tells me that's what I need to do, I'll do it. And if I receive backlash for it, whatever. But the fact of the matter is, I'm just going to be obedient to the Lord. Simple as that. So, it is what it is on that. So, yeah. But like I said, when it comes to this overall beef, internet beef, whatever the case may be, like I said, beef between people has existed since the beginning of time. So, yeah. And it's just something that's never going to end. Let's just keep it real on that. And as far as people being addicted to it, well, let's keep it real. I think everybody is guilty of that when it's all said and done. So, yeah. Y'all take care. God bless and peace.